Coach T's top mistakes. All right. So the first thing is I didn't have a coach or a mentor. It's one of the first and biggest mistakes that I made. I didn't have a mentor. The reason that that's so important is because when you don't have a coach or a mentor when you first start, and you're basically shooting in the dark. You don't know what you're doing. That's like, not having a football coach or a basketball coach or any kind of mentor. Like that means that you're not learning from somebody who already came before you. Does that make sense? Like think about anything that you were able to achieve or anything that you're great at. It's likely that you've learned from somebody. Well, if you don't learn from anybody, then guess what? You're going to make a lot of those mistakes and make a lot of those errors on your own, which is what happened to me. So my first 2 years, I was guessing on what I should do. I was guessing on how I should create it. And I was doing a lot of overthinking. I was doing a lot of just, maybe I should do it, maybe I shouldn't. I was doing a lot of, wait, I'm researching this and I'm researching this, and these answers are conflicting. This person says this thing, this person says this thing over here. What should I do? What I shouldn't do? And I just spent too much time not getting the answers. If I had to start over today, the first thing that I would do would be get a coach or a mentor. And I would get that because I need, like, I want to save time. Like, don't get it twisted. Time is the most important resource in the world. That is the one resource you cannot get back. Money, you could lose. We've all lost money before. You could lose $1, you could lose $100, you could lose 1,000. There's people who lost millions of dollars before. But guess what? They're able to, if you know what you're doing, you can get it right. You can get it back. But the second mistake that I made, everybody write this down, is that I was confused about my niche. I didn't really understand or have the clarity to select the niche. And part of it was, I'm like, well, I don't want to isolate people. Part of it was, all right, well, this is what I'm interested in at the time. And I didn't stick with any particular niche. When I say niche, I'm talking about either a specific topic or a specific audience. And I'm gonna put /role because role is important, because most people think a niche is like, they think about age, or from 25 to 45, or they think about men, or they think about women, they think about stuff like, but a niche doesn't necessarily, especially when it comes to audience, it doesn't necessarily mean that. It could also mean a role in society, right? It can be doctors. It could be, entrepreneurs, business owners. It could be people who are suffering with trauma. It could be, it could be any type of role, right? It could be teachers. You feel what I'm saying? So it could be a role in society, or it can be a topic. Like when I was teaching productivity, or it can be leadership, right? Or so it can be a topic, or it can be a specific role in society. So that's what I mean when we're talking niches, right? So, but I was confused. So basically what that did was that delayed 4 years, because I've been, at the time we're doing this right now, I've been doing this for about 8 years. My first 3 to 4 years was literally switching from niche to, I basically pretty much, now that I think about it, I pretty much switch niches like every year. Pretty much, like at the new year come, like I'm on a different niche, then I'm doing this, and then I'm doing. So it took me about, in 4 years, I have 4 different niches, right? How could you ever build a successful coaching business if you can't consistently help your audience? That means you can't build a solid fan base, right? How now you're trying to build fan bases in different audiences, segments. Right. So as soon as you start warming up to this, soon as I started warming up to this one and getting this one, I said, you know what? I think I like this better. Or I think I think this one is cooler. Okay, cool. Then I started doing that. Then I said, you know what? I think I want to do this. I want to help business owners. So now those 4 years, I could have been building one fan base. Because I segmented and I kept switching, I never was able to create a program. I was never able to create something for a particular audience. This is critical. And the mistake that I had in my mind was, well, if I select a niche, then I'm alienating people, which is not true. One, there's billions of people in this world. I forgot how many we're up to now. Probably, 7-8 billion people on this planet, right? So you got to realize that you don't need billions, you don't need millions, and you don't need hundreds of thousands of clients. You don't even need tens of thousands of clients. You don't even need 10,000 clients. You don't even need 5,000 clients. Let's be real. You don't need that many clients to hit your goal. Most of us here probably want to make 5K a month, 10K a month, maybe 20, 30K a month, maybe you want to make 7 figures, right? Which is about $83,333.33 per month, right? But I thought that I needed to be ready to start. Who told me that? Nobody told me. That's just what I thought. I'm like, oh, I need to have this together, or wow, I need to I need to have a program to help people, or right, or I needed to, when I say help, that could literally just mean post content. Oh, I need to have my whole program together before I post content on social media. If you think about it, you've already, before you showed up here, you've already for years, most likely, you were already helping people. Am I lying? You were already helping people. You were already giving good advice. 9 times out of 10, you got interested in this because either A, so many people were telling you that you're so helpful. You should be a life coach. You should be a teacher. You should be a speaker. You should be a trainer. You should do this for a living. So either externally or just internally, you felt so good just helping people, and you knew that people just kept coming to you for advice and for wisdom. You just kept giving and helping and serving, and at some point you realized that this was an industry. At some point you realized that you could get paid, and you said, wow, I want to do this as a business. But because of some circumstance, you felt like you're not ready. Because of the time of year, I'm not ready. Because I don't know my niche, I can't help people. I can't put out content. Because I don't have the money, I can't find a way to get help or mentorship or guidance. All of these are limiting beliefs. Like one of my most favorite quotes from Tony Robbins is, it's not about the resources you have, it's about how resourceful you are. Right? There was times where I didn't really have the money like that, but I found it, which led me to the position that I'm in right now. I found it. I borrowed it. I found ways, right? And if you have questions on that, I'll give you some ideas. But I felt like it was always like I felt like I needed something to be ready. And I'm going to give y'all a hint. After doing this for almost a decade, you're never going to feel ready. And I wasn't ready. But when I dove in, every time that I made it to the next level, every time that I've generated more revenue, every time that I made more of an impact, anytime that I've learned something or got in a certain environment, every time I stretch myself, it never felt comfortable and I never felt ready. Every time, without question, never felt ready. But it was the fact that I didn't feel ready and I did it anyway that got me to the next level. So you shouldn't feel comfortable, right? But that was the mistake that I made many times throughout my career. That follow what I'm saying? Super key. Jamia says, wow, I'm not ready, but I'm ready. There you go. I love it. All right. So that was number 3. All right, let's go to number 4. What was the fourth mistake? Fourth mistake. Let's jump right into it. Fourth mistake was overthinking the topics to coach my clients on. Overthinking the topics to coach my clients on. So we already know what we want to coach our clients on, but we tell ourselves, we overthink it ourselves. So for me, it was like, I don't know. And this goes back to the being ready thing. It's like, I don't know if I'm ready because what am I going to teach them? What am I going to train? You know it, because the reason you got interested is because you knew you had something to teach people. Like, think about it. You knew you had something to teach people, which is why you even want to do this in the first place, right? So, but a lot of times we overthink it, and that was me. I would overthink like, oh, whoa, what should I teach? Especially like, and I did that in all my niches, right? Even when I got into business, mind you, I didn't say that I had a 6 or 7 figure business before I started teaching entrepreneurs. I didn't have it. The only experience that I had when I started working with entrepreneurs and business owners was the last 3 niches that I did. that basically failed. Had, I got a little bit of buzz on campus. I got a little bit of buzz, but I wasn't really generating any revenue in books. So it's basically my experience in the field, which really wasn't that much at the time. But I love reading business books. So that was one of my biggest advantages, is that I was able to use what I've learned in books and what I've learned just learning about business. And then even like the very, very small percentage that I actually applied is what jump-started me saying, okay, I can at least help them with these entrepreneurs or business owners with this one thing, is one or two things. But the problem is that I really didn't understand or had a clear idea of what I was going to teach them. Right. So I would overthink it and I would say, oh, well, can I teach them? But if you think about it, all you really need to do, think about what a coaching program is. Your coaching program, your coaching business is literally just somebody who wants to achieve a goal and they need help on the journey to achieving that goal. That's all it is. No need to overthink it. So what can you do to assist somebody to getting closer? I was afraid of judgment when getting exposure. So as I told y'all, some of y'all jumped on late. I'm from like, my background did not give me the confidence to do what I'm doing today. From what I was doing in the hood to even being in college, nothing about what I do said anything about coaching, said anything about speaking, said anything about I have experience or I have knowledge or I have expertise that can help somebody. So when I started, I was afraid of the judgment, which is why I was pump faking for so long, which is why I was afraid to like put out content for so long. I was afraid to do it. And I'm gonna tell you like how I like, it was, I got to a point where I was creating content, but I wasn't putting it out. And it was because I was afraid of the judgment. I'm like, yo, what are people from the hood going to say? Yo, people who knew me from the block, yo, what are my fraternity bros going to say? What are my friends going to say? Like how all of a sudden, you're Terrell, all of a sudden you're Coach T and you can help all of these people. And so for me, I was just like, I don't really know. Like I was afraid of the judgment, not even because it ain't like I told somebody and they shut me down. I was literally all in my head, right? Even if I did tell somebody and they didn't like the idea, it's not their dream, it's not their purpose. God didn't give them that. He planted that in me to be able to serve and give and help people be leaders and train on what they know and help other people what they know. That's my vision. That's my dream. It's nobody else's. But I was so afraid of what other people were going to say and what other people were going to think that I never really put my full foot forward to really lean in and do it. And I think that's why a lot of people fail. I think that's why a lot of people, either quit the industry or they just get tired of it. Anybody who works with me, you work with me, one of the first things I'm going to tell you is that I need you to be in this for a decade, minimum. Don't tell me you're going to quit. Don't tell me you're going to leave. Don't tell me, I don't know how to figure it out. Stay in it for a decade, because that's going to be enough time for you to figure out the ups and downs, because there's going to be a lot of ups and downs in everything, in life and business. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs as you're living your purpose. Stay in this for a decade. But for me, when I started, it was just like, I was just afraid. You know what I mean? So don't be afraid of what other people are going to say. Don't be afraid of, what your mother is going to say, or your brother, or your friend, or that person from high school, or the person who's following you on your Facebook page who's super judgmental, or that family member who's super judgmental. Don't worry about all of that, because first of all, they're not going to be the people who are going to buy from you anyway. Let's keep it 100. They're not going to buy from you. They're not going to follow you. Out of my last 8 years of me doing this business, I've had one family member. Mind you, I've consulted thousands of people. I've had hundreds of clients, right? And we have over 100 active clients now in one of my programs. Out of the 8 years of hundreds of clients and thousands of consults, I've had one family member join the program. And I've had one friend join the program. One friend and one family member out of hundreds of clients. So that just goes to show you, the people that are closest to you are not going to be the people that's going to spend money with you. It is what it is. And that's, you can ask anybody across the board. Like that's just what it is, right? They just kind of, maybe they see you in a different light, who knows, but doesn't matter to me. I'm here to serve and help the people that want my help and that want me to serve them. Right. And if you see it and you close to me, or you know me, or we went to school together, or you're a family member and you want to rock with me, perfect. But I'm not relying on you. And I'm not also relying on your judgment or what you got to say. People are going to talk about you regardless. Who cares? Focus on the people who love you. Focus on the people who support you. Focus on the people that you can help. Focus on your purpose. Nobody taught me really how to create content. Even throughout my research, I realized that, okay, everybody says create content. Everybody says provide value, but what does that really look like? What's the step-by-step? Like, I'm a practical person. Anybody who rock with me, or if you ever coach with me in any of my programs, or if you ever follow me for any amount of time or watch my YouTube videos or whatever, you know that I'm the type of person that I like to list things out. As y'all can see, I love listing things out. I love making things practical, so you know exactly what to do. Like, so that's my training style. But nobody ever really told me how to create the content. I just knew, like, okay, I can talk about this, but how do I do it? How do I even come up with topics to talk about? Nobody taught me about the different formats or the different ways to create the content. So because I had so much confusion in my head about how to create content, I never created it consistently. I would just put it up when I got inspired. I would put it up when I got time. I never really had a formal process that somebody has done or somebody has proven so I can release content, because content in our industry is king. It really is, because that is how people discover you. That is how you create your fan base. You create your fan base by putting out content. When you put out a certain type of content in a certain niche, people who are attracted to the topic in that niche will be attracted to it. And then you start to create fans. You start to create and gain followers. And it's going to be those fans and it's going to be those followers who actually convert into paying clients. I did not have a system for booking appointments. Did not have a system for booking appointments. So again, because I'm just doing the research, I ain't really have, I didn't really have coaches like that. And then early on, I had a couple people, I had a couple programs and stuff. When I got to the point where I was spending money, I was buying programs, but I never really paid attention to this part. Right. Some of them were talking about, hey, you need to speak to people. I'm like, yeah. I kind of brushed it off. I kind of heard it. I kind of heard people say lead generation. I kind of heard people say book appointments. I kind of heard them and I kind of saw it in some programs, but I never took it seriously to where I implemented the system. And that hurt me for a long time. And I was wondering why I couldn't get past a few $100s. I was wondering why I couldn't get it past a few $1,000s. It was like, yo, I can't. What's going on? I didn't understand. So, and the reason is I didn't have a system. You got to realize this: in our coaching business, people, for them to feel comfortable, because what I'm teaching, if y'all follow me, if y'all end up working with me, you got to realize I'm not going to teach you how to do cheap stuff. Like, it's not going to be like, yo, we're going to put out a $25 course or $10 ebook. You can do that, especially as lead generators, but I'm going to teach you how to really get, like, you're going to be charging high ticket, right? And high ticket usually starts anywhere mid or high ticket. Mid or high ticket is anywhere between 1 and 2,000. Above 2,000 is usually high ticket, is what we consider that, right? Or high paying client. So I didn't have a system for booking appointments. So for me, everybody, all the gurus was like, yo, Terrell, just post, just put out content, just post, just put out content. So I'm posting. I'm like, why am I still broke though? I'm like, yo, where the clients at? I'm like, I'm posting, I'm doing what y'all telling me to do, but I'm still not getting clients. And I realized that I didn't understand or learn or have a system for turning my fans and my followers into paying clients. I didn't understand the process of that. The missing link was booking appointments. That was the missing link. That was the missing link for why I wasn't generating revenue. So you want to book appointments. So once I learned that is when everything opened. It's like people need some type of call to action, but people need to also know, like, and trust you. So you want to be doing things like doing trainings. You want to be doing things like giving away resources, giving away lead magnets, you want to be doing challenges, right? And if y'all need a whole system for this, I can give y'all the system. But basically, because we have about 10 different ways that we're able to book appointments and generate leads. But I'm going to tell you this, is that You need, if at the end of the day or at the end of the week, if I sat down with any one of us and I asked you, did you get any new clients this week? If your answer is no, or if you made any money this week, if the answer is no, 9 times out of 10 is because you're not booking a lot. Failed to be productive in terms of, I know I wanted to build a business. I know this is something I wanted to do, but I wasn't working on it consistently. Right. So especially during the times when I was working, right, it was, I would have like, I wake up in the morning, I would say, hey, I want to do a little bit of work in the morning, but I would wake up in the morning, maybe I'll work out, take a shower, kind of, just scroll on social media. Maybe I will read, but I wouldn't work on my business. But I said I wanted to do it. But then throughout the day, I'm busy. I'm doing my job right. I'm just working my job. And then I come home and then I'm tired. Anybody felt like this? If this is you, put that's me. Maybe you're tired. You gotta, maybe you gotta cook, you gotta clean, you gotta do something for the kids, right? Maybe you got a spouse or significant other, right? You want to spend some time with them. You just want to relax. You just had a long day. So maybe you kick your feet up, maybe you're watching TV, watch some Netflix. Next thing you know, it's time to go to bed. Whose week is pretty much like that, right? Maybe part of some nonprofits, or maybe you do some other things, but pretty much your business was not on your priority. Failed to focus on skill development. Coach T, skill development, what specifically? So my skill development was, and I want to stop sharing this for a second too. So my skill development, there's different, what's the best way for me to put this? In our industry, to get better and to generate more revenue and make more of an impact is going to come down to skill development. This is the difference. You could be doing everything right, meaning you could be doing everything I tell you to do or anything that you learn. However, you can still struggle if you're not getting better at the skills. For example, public speaking is a big skill in our industry, obviously, right? You're going to be speaking on stages. You're going to be speaking on podcasts. I'm speaking right now, right? You're going to be speaking on video. If you don't get great at the skill of speaking, then you won't attract people, right? That means you'll speak, but people won't feel it, or they won't take action, or they won't, you know what I'm saying? You won't move the people. You won't transform any lives. And we're all in this to transform lives, right? If you don't get better at the skill of coaching, you won't get good at asking questions. You won't get good at really helping translate what somebody's thinking into words, or what somebody's trying to say into words. You won't be great at getting people to take action. If you're not great at, or if you're not, let me not say great, because you don't necessarily have to be great to make an impact. But however, you should always strive to be great. But, you need the skill of leadership, because at some point we're all going to be building teams. You're going to be hiring virtual assistants if you don't already have it. You're going to be hiring people in sales. You're going to be hiring other coaches under you who are going to be teaching what you teach. It's going to be certain. You're going to be building out a team. Well, you need the skill of leadership. You need the skill of sales. You could be on calls all day long talking to people, but if what you're saying is putting people off, if what you're saying is you're unintentionally offending people, if what you're saying, you don't sound like, you're an expert, or you don't sound like you know what you're talking about, or you don't sound confident, or you're not clear on what you're offering people, or you're not clear on what you're giving people, or you're afraid to ask ask them to enroll. You feel what I'm saying? Although you can be on calls and physically do, Coach T could say, I want you to book appointments and have conversations with people. You could physically be on calls, but still struggle if you're not getting better at the skill. Does that make sense? If I say run ads, you can run Facebook ads, but if your ads are terrible, nobody will click. Nobody will convert into a lead, and you won't book appointments. So you can do the thing, but if you don't get good at the skill, happen like that. The only way to get great at a skill is to do it consistently every single day. That's the way you're going to get better at it. You do it every day, but you do it every day and you actively try to get better. You actively try to learn, oh, let me not do that next time. That was a mistake. Oh, you know what? Let me Let me try to give, okay, I never tell stories. Let me tell a story. Or, oh, I never give call to actions in my trainings. Let me start doing that. You feel what I'm saying? It's getting better at the skills. And 9 times out of 10, people don't know what those skills are they need to get better at. Or they know what they need to get better at, but they're not actively trying to get better at the skills. I did not have someone I can ask questions to. We try to do this industry alone. That is a big problem, especially when you're first starting. Imagine a baby trying to survive on its own. Impossible, right? Baby can't even walk. Baby can't even get food, right? Baby can't cook, right? All baby could do is cry, try to get a bottle. Hopefully somebody comes running and gives them a bottle, right? Baby can't do anything for themselves. You got to think about it. If you're just getting started, or if you're in the early stages, or if you're in a place where like you're plateauing, like you've been doing this, but you felt like, I've been doing this for some months, or I've been doing this for some years, but I still not gaining the momentum. I'm basically still in the same place that I was at months or years ago. And you feel like you hit a plateau. You probably don't have anybody you can really ask questions to, or ask anybody that you're asking who either has expertise or experience, or you're not asking somebody consistently.